I got into a fender bender a couple weeks ago. Did I tell you about this? Yeah, I was stopped at a stoplight, and the light turned green, and somebody was like waiting for a yield to a left turn from the other direction. And so the line stopped, and then this guy behind me, boom, bumped me. And I was like, let's go. And he followed me, and we pulled up off the side of the road. And it's a kid. He's like 17 years old. All right. He's scared. You can see it in his eyes. His pupils are real big and stuff like that. I get out of the car, and I look at the damage. And fenders these days, they're amazing. They're amazing. It's like it took the bump. There's almost like no damage. His license plate was bent a little bit, and that's it. You know, there's no real damage on my car. And so I looked at him and said, "Are you all right?" He didn't even get out of the car. I'm up and look outside the car. Usually men get out of the car and say, "Let's look at the damage." But he's just sitting there in his car. So I walk a little closer up to him, and he's got his license and registration out on his leg, like he had been like driving to like get behind me, and he's immediately getting his license and registration out. It's like, I'm not a cop, dude. He never got out of the car the entire interaction. I said, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, I'm okay." And it's like, "Doesn't look like much damage." And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't think there's much damage." And it's like, "Your license plate is bent up a little bit," thinking maybe he'd want to come out of his car and take a look. No, he didn't. He just sat there. And I was like, "Well, since everyone's okay and there doesn't seem to be any damage, I think I'll just be on my way." And he's like, "Oh my God, thank you for being so cool about this, dude. Oh my God. Oh." And I could see like in his like hands were shaking and stuff. And I felt like Michael Corleone in The Godfather, where the florist is sitting there, his hands are shaking after the mob guys go by, and Michael Corleone's hands aren't shaking as he lights a cigarette. You know, I felt like that because this kid, he was like, it's like, is this old man going to get out of the car and kick my ass? That guy outweighs me by at least 100 pounds. So he's going to drag me out of my car and whoop my ass because of a fender bender. So I'm sitting there. I explained to him, it's like, well, he said that I'm a new driver. And I was like, "You're 17, 18? New driver? Okay." And he's like, "I'm a new driver." And I was like, "Okay, well, if you've been driving as long as I have, you understand that you'll have like 5 or 6 of these in your lifetime. You know, sometimes it's, you know, your fault. Sometimes it's someone else's fault. And so, you know, just be safe, watch out. And, you know, especially when these things, because some people yield, they don't know when to yield, and people are morons on the road. You know what I mean?" And he's like, yeah, people are dumb out here." And I was like, yeah. But I liked the kid. I said, "Well, if everything's okay, if you're all right, then I'll just be on my way." And he's like, "Okay, thank you so much for being cool about it." It's like, "Absolutely, no problem, bro." And I got in my car and I left. I'm sure he did too. I remember like when I first started driving, I had a fender bender with a guy on Route 3, and I hit him, and I was like, "Oh God. Oh no, I'm going to have to get insurance. My insurance is going to go up because I'm 16 years old, you know." So I hit this guy, he pulled over, and we both got out like men. We both got out of the car, inspected the damage. My car was more damaged than his because he was a truck and he was kind of higher up. And so more damage was on my end. And so the guy said, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "Yes." "Well, I'm fine. This doesn't seem to be much damage. It seems like most of the damage is on you, but the whole thing is on you." So I was like, "That's fair enough, sir." But he's like, "There's no reason to get the law involved. You know, there's no reason to get insurance involved." And that was basically what I said to the kid, too. It was like, after getting a ticket for flicking a cigarette butt, I don't want to get arrested because I'm smoking a cigarette while a cop's taking a police report over a fender bender. And I don't know. It's just, it seemed to me like almost because he got pulled out his license and registration that like he thought I might bring the law into it. And I wonder if they've been the other way around. If I had hit him and he would have thought that I need to bring the law into this. I need to get a statement. I need to get like the insurance claim and all this stuff. You know, I wonder if that's what he would have done in my position. But I guess I'm just, I don't know, old school or seasoned or just don't trust the government at all. But I'm like, why would you need to bring the law into a situation like this? And I think that, you know, we could think about a lot of stuff that we do when people call the cops. It's like, maybe you shouldn't call the cops over that. Anyway. And settle it like men. You know what I mean?